We got an anonymous post from someone who claims to have been called by Tesla with Cybertruck pricing information. Now, because it's anonymous and because they didn't provide any screenshots or recordings or anything, even if they did, it's not really proof of anything. The truth is, we won't actually know for quite some time whether or not this report was accurate. But what I'm here to talk about today is whether or not it's a true pricing leak. Is this a good fake? Because many of you are probably convinced that it is, but I wanted to detail precisely why in this post I think that it was very well articulated if it was fabricated, and perhaps entertaining the concept that maybe this is exactly something Tesla would do at this point in time in Cybertruck development. And I know the two biggest pieces of information everyone wants to talk about is what's the range, what's the price. Don't have range info, but we've started to finally see glimmers of price info. So let's read it through just to be clear. We got their reservation number saying that they were one of the first people to reserve the Cybertruck. They said, I received a call from Tesla asking if I wanted to move forward with my Cybertruck purchase. Can you imagine how much you'd freak out in the event that someone just randomly called you with that? Only two options available for initial orders, dual or tri-motor, so that does technically align with the NHTSA data of what vehicle classes Tesla is planning on releasing in terms of trucks. He said he selected tri-motor and that he had his full self-driving locked at $7,000, which does line up with the original FSD pricing back when Cybertruck first started deposits. He prefaced that not everybody will be locked in at that FSD price and that the total price gave to him over the phone was $98,990 plus $7,000 for FSD plus taxes and registration and all that. He said, I received an email purchase order while he was still on the phone. They asked that I complete the purchase within a week or my Cybertruck would be allocated to another reservation holder. I can also complete the purchase in person at a Tesla showroom. Anonymous post because I don't know if they want this information shared or not. Can't risk running into an overzealous Tesla representative. So awfully convenient to not get much more specific than that. Easily could be someone just trying to get attention, but I must admit, if your goal was to get attention and get a lot of clicks or, get a lot of people clicking on your profile, he didn't provide one. It's anonymous, so he's probably not doing it for clout. If this was faked, this is probably someone who just wants Tesla stock to crash. Maybe they shorted the stock. Maybe they're an F-150 Lightning fan that's just trying to make the Cybertruck look bad. The price he gave on the post is honestly very Tesla-like in my opinion. The tri-motor Cybertruck is, by Elon's own terminology, the best product they've ever made, okay? We're talking about their best powertrain, the 3 motors, going into a pickup truck with a state-of-the-art suspension system, the 1000 volt architecture, the new 48 volt low voltage architecture, and we've got crazy big tires, we got a big old fat bed, we've got the exoskeleton, super durable, super rigid, we got the first auto-presenting frunk probably on a Tesla. So all of those great features, and keep in mind the current best of the best Tesla available is the Model X Plaid, which is currently sitting at $95,000, and that's considering Plaid Model X's have been around for a couple years. That's not some exclusive hard to reach vehicle. There are thousands upon tens of thousands probably of Plaid Model X's on the market, and yet if you want a brand new one, it's still gonna cost you 95 grand. Whereas this Cybertruck, I would argue there's easily way more demand for than Model X's. So considering the supply for Cybertrucks is very, very low because there's none available for order right now, and the demand is off the charts because the United States loves their pickup trucks and Cybertruck is like no other. The idea of the Cybertruck costing about $4,000 more than a Model X Plaid, it sounds kind of believable to me considering the supply and demand currently. Yes, the Cybertruck, thanks to its lack of paint shop and its 4680 cells and the single piece castings, over time as production ramps, I could see that price coming down. I just want to remind everybody not to get too obsessed with the launch pricing. Tesla, over the span of just a few months, will change prices by wide margins. Just as a reminder, the cheapest Model X was $121,000 last January, and now it's under $80,000 with incentives. So there's a $40,000 price difference within the span of 10 months. Cybertruck, I think, could be very, very similar considering how crazy high the demand is. And I know Tesla and Elon has talked about, we have to be able to price it at something people can afford. And Elon said that at least within the first 18 months of production, the margins on it are not going to be great. Yes, over time, I think with the 4680s and everything, the price will come down. But for the launch pricing, people who want one on day one, I think it's fairly Tesla-like to say, okay, well, we don't want it to be over $100,000 because that sounds kind of crazy and insane. So let's keep it in 5-figure territory. Let's make it under $100,000. And of course, if you just put it $10 beneath $100,000, $100,000. That would come across a little petty, but they want to secure as much margin as they can, so they lower it to $99,000, and then they do the classic Tesla thing where they deduct $10, just like how they do with pretty much all of their vehicles on the rest of the website. So the idea of someone faking that number, it's definitely possible, of course, but the idea of Tesla, the company themselves, finalizing the price for the Tri-Motor on $98,990, I gotta admit, that kind of sounds like them. That sounds like something they would do. They could say, okay, it's under 6 figures, and over time the price will come down, and it's honestly not that far off from the price of the Plaid Model X, which is basically the closest thing we have to a Tri-Motor Cybertruck at this point. So given the current market demand is out of this world crazy, and the supply is going to be fairly low for the first year, I actually think even if this post was fake, that the faker could have been spot on with their price guesstimate. They didn't talk about what the price was for the dual motor, so we don't have too much other information outside of this price, but I also think it's fairly believable that Tesla, rather than sending out emails to random people with Cybertruck reservations, that they would actually reach out and call you, actually get you on the phone. Why, you may ask? Because Tesla doesn't want to reveal pricing yet, probably won't even talk much about pricing at the delivery event because they're going to change it all the time. Tesla loves changing their prices every couple of weeks, so why would they commit to a final number on like a website or through an email, but instead reach out to Cybertruck reservation holders directly with a phone call? Obviously not all of them, just a select few, because they don't want this information to leak prematurely and get spread around the internet like it is right now. But just call a handful of people and say, hey, you want a Cybertruck next month? You thinking about it? Okay, if you're thinking about it, here's the price, $98,990. Are you still interested? Because the problem is that Tesla has gathered well over 1 million reservations for the Cybertruck, possibly over 2 million, but I don't know if that's factoring in people who, reserved 50 or 300 of them for their rental fleets or whatever. So the trick Tesla's gonna have to figure out is how many of these reservations are serious. How many people were like Dan from What's Inside and just tried to see how many Cybertrucks they could reserve, and how many people genuinely put down a $100 deposit and were serious about taking delivery. So could Tesla be gathering crowd data by just sending a phone call? Because you can't screenshot a phone call. Maybe if you're really quick, you can get a voice memo recording on another device and hear the conversation going in real time, but then they'll probably feel weird about that because then their voice on the record is also being revealed simultaneously as the phone call is going on. So this, in my opinion, sounds like a really slick, very secretive way for Tesla to gauge demand for the Cybertruck. Try to figure out what people are comfortable with, gather, okay, how did the customers on the phone react when you told them the price was $99,000? See how many people wanted to complete their order after the fact. If there's like a 50% cancellation rate, honestly, because there's so many reservations, Tesla would probably be fine with that. But if it's like a 95% cancellation rate, then yeah, they might go, okay, we're asking for too much. And we've talked about this before, right? Tesla's gonna have to do some kind of process to figure out how many serious Cybertruck reservation holders there are. In my opinion, reaching out on a phone call, unexpected, unsolicited, and just show up and say, hey, here's the price. Are you serious? And then you have to go, you know what? Yeah, I think I'll take it. Or no, that's crazy. And then they gather their data from those phone calls and then price it accordingly based on the cancellation rate. That's honestly far more believable to me than Tesla just like one day publishing the launch price, because I know they're going to change it a bunch of times. They always do. The 4680 Model Y, they didn't unveil the pricing at the event. Tesla Semi, they also didn't unveil the pricing at that either. So if there was a way to find out the pricing, I would imagine that it's through these unexpected phone calls just from a selective few. And of course, they'll probably say on the phone call, don't talk about this, don't tell other people, otherwise your reservation is going to be voided and we can cancel your deposit and put you back in line. Like if you read the Cybertruck pre-order agreement, Tesla does say that none of the pricing is really locked in and they have the right to cancel your order for any reason. So there's motivation for people who do get this phone call to keep quiet and maybe not talk too much about it. But with the price of the Model X Plaid being $95,000, the Tri-Motor Cybertruck costing $98,990, yeah, this is a pretty good fake, I'll add. So if you're listening out there, the faker who made this post, good job, because I know a lot of people don't believe you just because they're insisting that there's no way the Cybertruck will be expensive because there's no paint. If there's no paint, it has to be affordable. They have to drop the price by $40,000 simply due to the lack of paint shop. I know, that's how a lot of you guys think. But for someone who's a bit more analytical and remembers how Tesla adjusts pricing and how they fluctuate with their asking price dependent on supply and demand, I must say, this guy did a good job. So hats off to you, faker, or hats off to you, guy who actually got the first Cybertruck price reveal, and thank you for posting it anonymously so we can all figure figure out how to digest this incredibly hard pill. What do you guys think the tri-motor Cybertruck is going to cost? And throw in your dual motor predictions while we're at it, because hopefully there's only a couple of weeks left where we don't actually know the finalized pricing. I'm just glad it sounds like they're going to be honoring the FSD price locks that they said they would. There was a legal way they could have gotten out of that, and it sounds like they're not. So good on you, Tesla. Price of full self-driving seems to be coming down anyway, so might as well give it to people for $7,000 in the event that you're willing to spend, you know, $100,000 on a pickup truck. All that good stuff. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And thank you to everybody supporting this channel directly. Seriously, helps us out a ton, as does just watching these videos. So thanks again. Have an excellent rest of your day.